short presentation from the researchers that have submitted their abstracts. This should be an opportunity to either stimulate further discussion or to take up some ideas and to further develop them into separate or smaller groups in order to see the viability and the possibility of producing some papers for a thematic issue that Andrea and I would like to explore on software, provided that we gather sufficient material. I think that we have already seen some ideas that could be sparkling point for creating some papers, and we'll see what happens during the rest of our symposium. A few notes on the program, because unfortunately I will not be with you this evening, and tomorrow morning I will arrive during the first session, so Julian will be the master of ceremony for tomorrow. And there is also another change in the program, because the session on modeling water user behavior on smart meter data to agent-based modeling that in the original program was to be held by Andrea Castelletti and myself, to be instead given by Matteo Giuliani from Politecnico and Alessandro Facchini from SUSI. So we decided to skip this duty. And let me see if there is any other change in the program.
There will be also in the afternoon in the workshop, Andrea, demonstration of the synthetic generator.
Okay, yeah, and this is not in this printed program. It is in the online version, but unfortunately the printed program does not take into account that Andrea Cominola from Politecnico will give a demonstration on the synthetic data generator for water consumption. What else? I remind you that this evening dinner is served at 19:30 sharp. So please be on time if you want to eat. So I leave now the floor to Marielle, and that she will, as part of the presentation says, still continue on this discussion about the impact and the role of smart metering for changing or empowering, as you say, the water consumer to know more about their behavior. Thank you.
Present me working. I'm from the French Institute, which is called Pasteur, small one, and this communication was written with Arnaud Bessy, who is belonging to the Montpellier Metropole area. Then it was an engineer, an hydrologic engineer. And me, I'm an economist. He's an hydrologic, and we master master student in psychology to do this research. It was in the field of what was presented this morning and this afternoon, that it is in a context of increasing water scarcity and the need to save water that this type of new technology can be implemented because of its advantages. In fact, especially to detect leaks at the individual level or in the collective network system. This seems to have many advantages for users, households and other type of water users, and also for managers. We can increase the meter reading frequency, have better knowledge of water consumption, and even also have an automatic reading than no disturbances, productivity gains, etc. But in France, at least, the subscription rate is really low. For instance, in the suburb of Montpellier, only 2% of the 23,000 water subscribers are connected to this type of water meter. Then we see that it's really low, and in France, it's a new technology which is developing nowadays, and in every case we find something like between 2% to 8% of people who are connected to this type of technology, even if it's free of charge for people. Then,
sorry, I don't understand well. So you mean that the water users in Montpellier, they have to ask the water utility to install the smart meter? They are not rolled out by the
no, I'm not. I was wrong. It is installed, but you have to connect to the internet in order to have information,
yes.
to have to parameterize alerts, etc.
Okay.
And this type of thing, only 2% of people do that, and moreover, in the 2%, 1% corresponds to municipal users.
Okay.
Then for households, it was only 1%.
Okay.
Then it's really,
Yes.
really less.
In Valencia, I think the figures that Joan gave us is that 10% are the registered users to their local office. Because in Valencia they have also a similar thing that they have installed all the smart meters, and then there is a platform they can connect to, and it's 10%. And here in near Locarno, we have a similar situation with 10%. People higher than your 2%, but again, they are not fantastic figures.
We didn't, in this communication, we wanted to know why such gap. And in fact, we wanted to go through the different steps, the information step, the intent to take action, and we will see also the real behavior after. Then, in this communication, I will firstly present the theoretical part. Being informed, I am taking the last one, 5W interpretation, but because it's really important to know who says what to whom, in which channel, with what effect. And with that, for instance, in France, for the Montpellier case, it's this case, and the other are the other case. It is the big surround of Paris here. You see, they have plenty of type of measures to inform people, either indirectly through mayor or through local authorities, or directly to water subscribers, either personalized, not really that is, we send a mail, a flyer to them, or with a target population, like new subscribers, or generalized to the population through a web page, newspaper article, or municipal newsletter. Then we try to inform people to understand, to be that they can after that adopt the technology. But informing is not sufficient. People have to be well-meaning, and use the plant behavior as I said in a proposal. intention to connect, we have two steps to follow. The first one is the attitude toward water and new technology, and sometimes we say like environment. Secondly, the technology has to be perceived as positive, as we're writing. And thirdly, people have to perceive they can control this technology. They have the ability to control the new technology and to understand the information what is given. For instance, if you have the water level and you don't know if it's less, more, or normal, you cannot act after that. Then it's a combination of the three that can be influence the adoption of the technology. That in the further presentation, I will present the different steps, the information, the intention, and after that, the behavior in reality. For that, I will present a case study in south of France, close to Montpellier, because in Montpellier itself, there is no water meter for the moment. The SNGC park I presented before was just close to, but not inside the metropole, the Montpellier district. We found 261 households in a suburb area, a residential area, mainly with house. And we try to well inform them through individual information, face-to-face, and or, it was depending, by letter. But this letter, in order to be trusted, was signed by mayor in charge of water, in order that they trust what we say to do. When it was face-to-face, it was directly done by Montpellier Metropole staff and not by the private operator, which was Veolia, because sometimes we don't trust the private operator. And we gave them also a leaflet explaining smart metering services. And because we found in the previous project that sometimes it is difficult to connect, to identify itself in the website, etc. All was explained, the technology also, and we answered the question to help them to adopt it. To know if people are well-being, we tested through a face-to-face survey. It was roughly 15 minutes. And we asked 20 questions about the relationship between household and water services, water price perception, computer skills, payment of water bill through a website or not. We identified what we call social representation of water and smart meters. That is, we ask them, we say the term water, for instance, and we ask them to give us 3 words or phrases referring to this item, and then to order them, and then also to prioritize them from a scale from -3 to 3, in order to see what is the meaning for them of these terms. Water and intelligent metering. And we collect also household characteristics. We surveyed only 77 people. You see, in fact, we try to test the 2 ways of information, face-to-face or later. And to be sure that there is no geographical interaction, we find that the even number of houses was face-to-face and the other was not face-to-face. When we look at the water consumption, it's liter per day and per household, we see that our surveyed households are roughly the same as the target population. And we think that we have no differences. And the surveyed households are roughly 3 people per household. Mainly a big presentation of retired people. It's normal. We are in south of France, close to the Mediterranean. They like this type of thing. It's mostly owners of their houses, and we have houses with swimming pool, and also 20% have rainwater collector, and also a big part have boreholes. And it's typical behavior in south of France to irrigate the land and to have a swimming pool. And this is important because if you if you size the price for the collective network, thinking that there is no substitute, you can have some adverse effects.
Please explain why this sample seems to be, on average, quite old, affluent, and probably seems to be quite peculiar, isn't it? 60% of the houses have a swimming pool, the average date of birth is 61, and there are 47% there are managers. So since they are quite structured sample.
You're right. Yeah. We are in the south of Montpellier, just close to Montpellier. It's a Lat district, and in this district, between the sea and Montpellier, and people are really attracted by distribution. Then price are really high. And then it's mostly people who have money, who are in this region. But in the apartment, it's different. In the apartment, we find another type of population. But it was not so, we didn't have so much people that we mixed them together because we know 17 people, it's not so much. But we knew that it was a problem, but it was a lonely part of the town that was smart medicine. And when we did this social presentation, we took a periodical evocation method. Then to give the 3 words allowed us to have a frequency of occurrence. To order them allowed us to level the interest of the world, and we add something which is not in this method, to prioritization we will see after why. And if 10% of the population say the word, I don't know which, but it is the core representation, the central area, especially when it's run more than 2 people, it's 1, the first term, and then we will see what happened for water and for smart consumption. For water, you see that it's normal that the percentage of occurrence are really low, because if I ask you what is the term which represents you water, you will see maybe all people will tell me You see, even if we are in the south of France with shortage, etc., it's really in the back. In the same for intelligent metering, where we people feel that it's useful, it empowers the monitoring, it is simple, etc., etc. And at the beginning, when we present the questionnaire, we were thinking that the negative words were more higher in the priority than it was in fact. You see that in employment, in useful manipulation, privatization, etc., doesn't represent a high majority of people currently. That is that both water and intelligent metering is not the explanation of the not adoption of this technology. But when we look at the subscription rate, we see that only 12 people on the 261 adopted it. Then we are roughly at 5% of the population. It's not really big. And when I did the cluster analysis with small population, I saw that it's people who adopted it was lower income and also higher water user. That is, people who are, for instance, a swimming pool, but not a borehole. And then they adopted more this technology. Then it's not because negative representation. It seems that information and intention are well, not too bad. Then the gap is between them in this and why we can explain that is even if Manuel, for instance, says that people react to price. In the survey, we observe that people consider the water price really low. And in France, from 2 years, I think, there is a new French water law which protects water users against exceptional leakage. That is, if you have a leakage, you can be reimbursed of your water bill. Then people don't care about leaking. And as it was presented also, we think that to increase the adoption, we have to link this type of technology to water pricing, even if it's not so water pricing structure. Also feedback, because in our case, in Montpellier, you have a feedback, you can parameterize alerts. You can see on the website what is happened on the water consumption, but you are not informed really on what to do if you detect that you consume 3,000 cubic meter per year or 3,000 liter per day. We do not know if it's more, it's urge water consumption or not. Then maybe it is important to more inform the population. And that was the research done last year. And nowadays, I collected data just close to the field study was done here in Bath, just close to Montpellier, and nowadays I have this district, the CLGC district, with a number of water meters with daily data from during 4 years, and I want to detect trains, brakes, compared to the moment when they have adopted, if they have adopted the water alert, etc. For instance, that is what we see in the internet website. We have not much interaction, but yes, I think if there is something which can impulse behavior.
Maybe it is easier.
Yeah.
Because people are busy or just is that any other?
Because in this case, we can see, look in the internet, we can parameterize alerts in SMS or by email, but that's all. And you need to parameterize. For instance, here you can create a daily alert or mensual alert, but it's you have to design all the options. Okay. Then
Yes, but I think it would be not so acceptable by water utility the fact that you automatically send alerts to the customers if they don't provide consent. It would be quite debatable, this policy, I fear. I don't think we have anybody representing a water utility here, but given the, I mean, we're facing the same problems in the smart H2O project, which is a problem also, because as I said, in Valencia they installed 400,000 smart meters. So basically all the houses in Valencia have a smart meter. And the customers in Valencia, they can log into what they call the virtual office, that is similar to this platform that we're showing, because they can see the consumption and probably they can also set alerts and so on. But then only 10% of the total customers have registered to this platform. Now, in the context of the Smart H2O project, we have provided a so-called gamified platform. It will be presented by Isabel in a future presentation, in which we do what you were suggesting, like, okay, my consumption is that, but what does it mean? Is it good? Is it bad? And so the user is compared to others. The user is profiled.